This is the Tigers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Now that's how you close out a series on a Sunday afternoon against a divisional opponent. What a guy to do it, Tarik Skubal. Welcome in to a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. Good Sunday afternoon. Excited to break this one down. It's a series win, a Skubal gem, and Jake Rogers was really good at the plate as well. If you're new around here, this is the Locked On Tigers postcast. It's your postgame destination, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube as well. All part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Here's how it works around here. You fire up some comments and we react and we respond and we basically collaborate after every Tigers game. And today it's a Tigers win, a shutout win over the Kansas City Royals. All of my biggest talking point, our turning point, and oh yeah, our player of the game as well. 5-0 win. Let's break it down. Buckle up and dial it in because the Tigers needed this. It was not a very good start to the road trip, obviously getting swept by the Sacramento A's. And last night, listen, I'll be honest. Last night, it just felt like a tightly contested game where the Tigers made an unfortunate mistake, and that was that. And you're going to have those throughout the course of 162. And then to come back today with your horse on the mound, your ace, and for him to do what he did, and then the offense to get on board and going up against a really good pitcher in Michael Wacha, this feels really, really good. And listen, as the season continues to progress and the calendar shrinks down and we get into the month of September here, tomorrow, today's last day in August, depending on when you're listening to this, and it just becomes the outlast portion of the schedule. You know, we're into September, you would say past the dog days of summer, the roster expands and everything else. And the point of the point being, it's getting close to go time, and days like today are reminders that this Tigers team, for all their flaws and all of their weaknesses, like a lot of teams have across Major League Baseball, there's instances where you can hand Tarik Skubal the baseball and say, go get us a win. And he absolutely has that ability. So let's get into it. I've already gotten into it, but here is our biggest talking point.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It might be a little bit of a jump, but sometimes my brain does that. And I'm just going to tell you what's going on in my brain. It felt like today had a little bit of a, not even, I don't want to say postseason feel, but a postseason buildup where, all right, this game is important and you've got all of the makings to go out and take the series. I mean, everything you would arrange for with Skubal on the mound and so on and so forth. Now let's go see it. And the execution, the continuation of the excellent pitching from Skubal on to Kyle Finnegan, who we've been giving nothing but love to. And why wouldn't you? He's been as good of a trade deadline acquisition as you will see. I mean, he's setting a record for the most consecutive scoreless innings upon being acquired by the Tigers in the middle of the season, and was just absolutely stellar once again. Goes through the eighth scoreless, and then Rafael Montero deserves some love as well, albeit not really a high leverage situation, which speaks to the importance of those insurance runs, the one insurance run in the eighth, and then just continuing to pour it on there in that fifth. But he looked really good. I mean, I was setting up the old thumbnail and everything, getting ready. And before, I mean, oh my goodness, Rafael Montero, the game's over and the Tigers have won. So Skubal to Finnegan. And obviously if it were a closer game, it probably would have been Will Vest, but Rafael Montero does the job, and there's a 0 on the scoreboard for the opposition. So again, it just feels like today wasn't postseason baseball. Don't take that away from my my remarks, but it was a build up to an important game, and the Tigers made a 5-0 statement for the win. So with that, let's open it up to some comments. There's a lot of them flying in, which I absolutely love and appreciate. Later in the program, we'll have our player of the game and our biggest turning point, but we begin with Philip, who says Rogers gets to the Mendoza line. Even with Jake Rogers performing well today and the output offensively, we still got to have some backhanded compliments there. But 2 more hits for Jake Rogers, the 2 RBI double, and he scored a run as well. Yeah, the triple. My apologies. So it's the triple. But and then got a little bit of luck later on as well. All right. Fishy says Montero is good. Yeah, Rafael Montero is an interesting case study, right? He has been good. He has been bad over the course of his career. So the nature of the numbers being up and down as a relief pitcher just makes me nervous. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. The dude chimes in. Finnegan continues to impress. Happy Labor Day weekend. I like that. That's good. Yes. Happy Labor Day weekend. Labor Day tomorrow. So the Tigers and Mets will play a day game, which is a great programming reminder that our Locked On Tigers post-game show will be in the afternoon tomorrow, or following the conclusion of the game. You know how it works. Sean Gray is up next. Nice series win. Magic number 16 for division. Let the countdown begin. I'll leave that up in charge of the listeners. I've said this time and time again on this program. I'm not a big magic number guy until it starts to get, for sure single digits, but closer to 3, 4 and that range, 2, 3, 4. It's just, I don't know. That's how I'm wired. Demetrius McNeil is up next. That's how you bounce back from a tough loss. Win number 80 on the year, but no time to rest because the New York Mets are coming to Detroit. That means baseballs are going to be flying around this week. Yeah, Tigers back for a 6-game homestand with that nice off day in the middle on Thursdays. We're kind of getting accustomed to that schedule. Jason Walter is up next, says classic Scoob. Indeed. Lego City Dad, great win, not to be a downer. Oh boy, here we go. But how's Meadows hitting, progressing? Meadows hitting leadoff and send Sweeney down to get some help with hitting. That's the popular, I think, remark or sentiment to have towards Sweeney, and I get it. It's earned. Meadows not ready. I think with Meadows, it's hard because you've seen it there. You've seen the potential, but it just it hasn't happened this year. Sean Gray is up next. Skubal, great today. I'm glad he got the win. It's been a while since he got a win. I want to see another triple crown for him. Indeed, yeah. I know wins are not valued nearly as much from a starting pitcher, but Skubal at 12-4, 7 scoreless. That ERA continuing to sink, now down to 2.18. I got to double check where that is among all the other major leaguers. Amber is up next. Tigers did good. What a great win. Rogers did amazing. Indeed, I don't disagree with any of that. Shout out to Amber. Appreciate you chiming in. Braylon Dennis, I'm loving Finnegan more and more as the games progress. Yeah, I would hope so. What's not to love? That was awesome. It's always awesome. Scoreless. He doesn't give up any runs. It's great. Braylon Dennis, I read that one already. My apologies. Anthony Robinson, today he didn't try to strike everyone out, just masterfully pitched. Way to go, Skubal. Yeah, the Skubal conversation is interesting because I thought originally, and by originally, I don't know why I said originally, I thought initially early on, he might not have had that really great stuff. He was pitching around a lot of traffic early. He had to get out of a couple jams early. And it was almost the polar opposite his last start in Sacramento, where I legit thought it was going to be a no-hitter. I mean, that first couple of innings, he was just mowing down members of the Athletics, and they weren't even close. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they caught lightning in a bottle. And this was somewhat of the opposite, where Skubal, I don't, it's not like he wasn't fooling hitters, but he just wasn't as dominant, perhaps, as we've seen him time and time again. And so for him to just, I think that's a really good way to put it, just masterfully cruise through the lineup, and all of a sudden you blink and it's 7 scoreless. So great stuff there. Gray Matter is up next. Waco is on a roll coming into today's game. Good to see the Tigers offense get to him. Better late than never for another Skubal victory. Yeah, Waco is interesting because the Tigers have played Waco so many times. And initially early on, again, it was kind of the opposite where Waco was cruising and then just hit the rough patch in the fifth inning. And let's go to that fifth inning right now, because that's where the Tigers really took control of this game offensively. And with Skubal pitching as brilliantly as he was, they had no other need. I mean, again, they get the one run in the eighth, but you get the walk, you get McKinstry singling, Torkelson up to third, and then the 2-on triple for Jake Rogers really felt like it started to open the floodgates, because after that, Sweeney flied out, but the Colt Keith double was big, and Gleyber Torres keeping it going. Boy, how good has Gleyber Torres been? Really, such an amazing acquisition this past offseason, and he has just fit in so great in Detroit. All right, let's go ahead and keep it rolling here. I appreciate all of the comments. Gary Myers is up next. Jake Rogers comes up huge. Indeed, Myers goes on to add, bullpen has been much better as of late. Good to see. Have it down the stretch. Indeed, you do. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll have our player of the game, our turning point, and look ahead to the Mets. That's next on Live Locked On Tigers Postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Upside. Hey, Locked On Tigers fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited promo code SEASON. Get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 on a year just from buying the gas you already need and use. At first, I thought, well, wait a second. This is too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or even an e-gift card to Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app right now using my limited promo code SEASON for a limited time, 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. And don't forget, offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel. That's right. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using the FanDuel app because it fits however you'd like. Sometimes I'm feeling a nice meat and potatoes bets. Give me a point line, give me a over-under, something like that. And sometimes I like to get crazy with the props and parlays, and they've got it all. And that's what keeps me going back to FanDuel. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, guys, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back and better than ever. That's right. That's why we do this live. Prize Picks is the simple and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in 60 seconds. I love using Prize Picks. It's so simple, more or less, and it's such a fun way to stay locked in for the season. And the best part, even if one of your pick misses, when you use that flex play, that's why Prize Picks invented the flex play. You can still double your money. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 Prize Picks hits. It's good to be right. Tigers all over the Royals in the series finale. They take 2 of 3 at Kauffman Stadium to earn the series win, and that division lead is back to 9.5. Things you absolutely love to see. As always, we appreciate your comments. R1 VJ4 is up next. Got to give it to Rogers. When he's on, even when he walks, he's one of my favorite players. Again, that love-hate relationship us fans have with players' performances, enjoying this year very much. I think that's a good way to put it. Anthony Robinson reminding us the Tigers are the first team to 80 wins, which is good stuff. You love that. In the American League, of course. Good deal all the way around. Hey, how about we get into our biggest turning point?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I mean, the easy answer and the obvious answer is when the Tigers bats woke up in that 5th inning and Jake Rogers with the 2-run triple. Credit him for that. But this game would have, could have, should have. You guys know how I feel about that. But if the Royals could have cashed in early when they had the opportunities, they obviously didn't. That's a credit to Tarik Skubal and pitching around a lot of traffic. And it felt like he started to get into, his rhythm, his takeover mode that we see so often. And from there, it was curtains for the Royals. So turning point, Jake Rogers 2-run triple with a little side of Tarik Skubal masterfully navigating his way through the Royals lineup to the tune of 7 scoreless. Throw in Finnegan in the 8th for a scoreless inning and closing it out, although it was not a save situation for Rafael Montero, and you've got yourself a 5-0 victory. How about our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Sorry, Jake Rogers. I know he's a big fan, he's a big listener, and you get an honorable mention today because you were really good behind the plate. But Skubal, man, 7 scoreless. Maybe we'll do co-players of the game. How about that? I hope I don't get fired from Locked On for having co-players of the game. But Jake Rogers, Tarik Skubal, they'll be our co-players of the game so that we keep everybody happy here. That's what we're all about on the live Locked On Tigers postcast. But for Jake Rogers, calls a great game, 2 for 4, had the 2 RBI and the triple, scored a run as well. Tarik Skubal gets his 12th win of the season, 7 scoreless, just the 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 4. And I forget who it was. Somebody in the comments made the point that he wasn't trying to strike everybody out. He was just navigating his way through so effectively, like we love to see from Tarik Skubal. But hey, how about 2 out of 3? And you'll take that from the Kansas City Royals because they're chasing you in the division. So you take a series back to 9.5. Great stuff there. And oh yeah, by the way, the Mets come to town. And on Monday, as I mentioned, it is in fact a day game with the Labor Day holiday. Enjoy it. Maybe someone's heading out to Comerica Park. Let me know if you are. Charlie Morton will get the start, 1:10 first pitch, and then a normal night game on Tuesday, 6:40. And then we close it out with another day game on Wednesday, 1:10 first pitch. Casey Mize will throw in that one. Tigers have not announced a starter for the second game of the series. Thanks so much for tuning into the Locked On Tigers post-game show, the postcast, and for being with us all weekend. And happy Labor Day. We'll talk to you tomorrow after Tigers and Mets. Have a great Sunday. See you.